friends, welcome back to another lesson. So today we are going to look at a technique called the left hand embellishment. So to embellish is a word that means to be creative, to be artistic, to make something look beautiful, to beautify basically. So if you're a painter, you're trying to do those final touches to make something look more beautiful. You have done the underlying paint, the undercoat and all those things, and now you're doing the final touches. So let's say we've learned our chords, we've learned all these different rhythms, how to play our chords. So now we're looking at how the left hand can be a little more creative, whether it comes to picking chords. So you see, I'm playing the C major chord, but the left hand is doing more than just fret the chord. And the technique that we're going to look at today is called slurring. So a slur is a curved line like this that ties two or more notes together. So a slur is literally a curved line like that. So it ties two notes together. And that means you can either play it for longer, or it means connect those two notes in a way that seems continuous. So that is a slur. And in slurring we have two techniques. We have Hammer-ons and Pulloffs. So those are the two techniques that we are going to look at today and how we can add them to our playing. Hammer-ons and Pulloffs are used broadly in blues, rock and roll, of course acoustic fingerstyle, like you saw me do at the start of this lesson, and other genres. Different genres really use these hammer-ons and pull-offs to make the music more interesting. It makes the melody, a bit more compared if I had done. So it makes the music much more interesting than if I had done this. It's a bit, more interesting and continuous. So the number one technique that we're going to look at is the hammer-on. And a hammer-on simply means to produce two notes from a note that is already ringing, and you produce another note. Like the name suggests, you use one of your left hand fingers to do a hammer. Like for example, I sound a note, then I hammer. So that's the technique. So we can try it in different ways. So for example, it could be on a chord, because I already have a note sounding here and I hammer on, or I could have an open note. So, and I can hammer on several notes. Yeah, so that is a hammer-on. So we're going to first try it on we're going to use this finger and this finger, these two fingers. On the G major pentatonic scale. So of course we haven't learned much about pentatonic scales. If you have, that's good, but I will do lessons about it. But for now we're going to use it as a study. So we're going to use these fingers, each in its fret. So this finger is going to hammer on. So when we find a note in any fret, we use that finger in that fret to hammer. So we're going to start on G. like that. So practice that several times until you get it. Then the other technique, the other thing we can use is the G major scale. Of course, we've learned the G major scale. So we're going to be hammering on. So we're going to be hammering from open to a note. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, do, like that. So practice with those two notes and practice those hammer-ons, okay? Then the second technique that we're going to look at is pull-off. So we hammer and pull off. So we pull off. Or we can first strike a note, then we pull off. Like that. So that's a pull off. So you already have a fretted note, strike the note, pull off. Sometimes it's used in a downward kind of style. So for example, that's the best way I can illustrate a pull off. It's a fast process. So like that. Now we are going to play the G major scale backwards so that we can be able to practice the pull-offs. Suppose it went like this. So now we're going to pull off. You get that? So we're going to first pull off to open notes. Okay? These techniques are normally combined. For example, hammer-on and pull-off. Hammer-ons and pull-offs. So a hammer-on is normally indicated with a capital H. If you're reading standard music notation, there's a curved line and a capital H to indicate hammer-on, or it may have capital H and O and capital O to indicate hammer-on with that curved line, H, O, or simply H to mean hammer-on. And then the pull-off, it's also indicated with that curve with a P or a PO, depending on how you want to indicate it, if in case you're indicating it somewhere. But if you find that in a music notation or in standard guitar tablature, because you write music in tabs, you also find that it's written like that: pull off and hammer-ons, capital HO or PO, like that. Normally these techniques are used together, like I've mentioned. So we now want to practice how to use them together. So first try practicing them up and down, up and down, up and down. Then now we can start to add them to our, let's say, our chord. For example, now the C chord, I can have a hammer on, but I add certain notes. For example, now this becomes like a C add 9, not C9, but I add the 9th note. Of course, you don't have to worry about those. We shall keep doing further theory on those things, so don't worry for now. So it's the D note, but this D note in the higher register, because if you use this one, it becomes a sus, becomes a sus2. So that's a Hammer-ons. So that's a pull-off. Hammer-on pull-off. Hammer off. So now, like that in that G note, I've like a G sus4 to make it a sus4. G major to sus4, then I pull off to make it major again. Of course, it works. Sus chords that you can use it to add sus chords, to add added 9s or other notes, any other notes. Of course, for example, if you're in the key of G and you want and I'm now adding the D sus4, resolving it to D major. Okay. Hammer-on or Hammer-on and pull off. Yeah, so like that. And then of course, like in the technique that we've been looking at, cutter picking style. So here, that's a Hammer-on. So you can feel that Hammer-on being applied in fingerstyle, okay? So that those techniques can be applied both in the notes, in the treble clef, or in the higher notes, or on the low strings. For example, I have so now, like in that instance, I'm using that a faster Hammer-on, and I'm not pulling off. So on the low strings, so you can play around with it and try to see how things sound. Okay, this technique that I used at the start of this song is a technique employed by banjo players, and the technique is called banjo rolls. We shall have a future lesson on banjo rolls in our fingerstyle guitar section. But first, please remember to subscribe in case you haven't, and to those that have subscribed, I really appreciate. Hit the notification icon so I always notify you. Share the lessons and let's reach as many people as possible. Let everyone who wants to learn the guitar be able to access these lessons. So by liking those lessons, you help support and push this channel so that we can all continue to make more free lesson for us. Also, don't forget to engage. Let me know in the comment section how I can help you. If you need guitar lessons or piano lessons with a music coach, we do offer online lessons. That is if you're literally out of the country, like out of Uganda, or far out of Kampala, or you have a busy schedule and you want to have some online lessons. But if you can also, if you have time and you can do physical lessons, we also offer physical lessons in and around Kampala. And of course, depending on where you are, we can always have a discussion and decide on where to have the lessons. So in case you have to, I'm going to put the details, the contact information, so you can contact me. And then we also have holiday programs for children. So in case you have children that want to learn the piano, the guitar, the recorder, music theory, and all those things, do contact me as well. Or you can book a space for your child for the holidays so they can start learning as early as possible. Yes, so banjo rolls it's a technique that is mostly used by banjo players to play a group of notes. And they use and this technique uses hammer-ons and pull-offs. So I thought this would be a good example for us to listen to so that you can be able to get the effect and feel of hammer-ons. Yeah, so that is hammer-ons and pull-offs for you, and they help to embellish and make our playing much more interesting and beautiful. So I think you can see the value, the craft, the art it adds to our simple chords. So someone can think you're playing 1,000 chords, or you can think you're playing more than one chord, but you're literally adding just a hammer-on, a hammer-on at some point, a pull-off at some point, and when you combine both, you realize that it becomes so good and interesting. So remember to practice with a pentatonic scale, with hammer-ons and pull-offs. Yeah, like that. Hammer-ons, pull-offs. Yeah, like that. And also, of course, on the G major scale and any other scale that you know. If you're already an advanced player, you can try, of course, you can, try first pentatonic licks. can try incorporating it in your soloing. It doesn't stop on the acoustic. It's like I said, it cuts across all genres. So if you're a rock player, you can find a thing or two to learn from this lesson. And once again, thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe, like the videos, share, and let me know how I can be of help. Hit that notification icon so I will always notify you when I post a new lesson. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.